Hi, I'm Peter Schertz. I would like to tell you about myself and the settlement of Schertz Camp. I am the son of Michael Schertz and Elizabeth Vanderbeek. My father was a revolutionary soldier and my parents were descendants of German immigrants. I was born November 20, 1800 in St. Clair Township, Columbiana County, Ohio. I married Margaret Cameron on September 8, 1831. She was the daughter of Daniel Cameron and Ann Kelly. She was born November 20, 1808, also in St. Clair Township. We were both baptized members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in August of 1833. Our first two children were born while we were in St. Clair Township. George Washington was born in 1832 and King Darius in 1833. Our family then moved to Kirtland with many of the other saints. Here, Moron I was born in 1834 and Don Carlos in 1836. As we migrated further west, our daughter Saria Jane was born in Missouri. We finally moved to Nauvoo. A son and a daughter was born here and both died. I helped build the Nauvoo Temple. As we were driven from Nauvoo, we crossed Iowa and settled in an area that was about 18 miles north of Canesville. The settlement became known as Schertz Camp because I was the first settler. As more families joined us, many of them were converts to the church. Since we were remote from Canesville, a branch of the church was established. It was called Schertz Branch. Schertz Branch changed names many different times throughout its existence. It was called Schertz Branch for 2 years from June of 1848 to June of 1850. In June of 1850, it was renamed Buio Branch after my family and other original members left for the valley. In August of 1851, it was renamed Union Branch on Buio after absorbing the Rocky Ford Branch. Eventually, it was absorbed into the North Pigeon Branch. Thomas Washington Smith was the branch president from June 1848 to June 1850. John Whitlock Radford and I were his counselors. We had 2 daughters, Margaret in 1848 and Anne Elizabeth in 1849, both born at Schertz Camp. Margaret passed away in 1848. The cemetery associated with our settlement is now known as the Oak Grove Cemetery. Some of our camp petitioned the government for a post office to be in Canesville. My sons King Darius and Don Carlos and I signed that petition. In 1850, we joined the Benjamin Hawks Company and left in early June for the Salt Lake Valley. We followed the old Pioneer Trail along the north bank of the Platte River. Food consisted of meager rations of cornbread, salt bacon, and milk. Anything harvested along the way was a bonus. Margaret was frail after the birth of our last child. She became weaker and contracted cholera and died. I took the top box off of our wagon and made a crude coffin. We lined it with a bed sheet and wrapped her in it. My children and I knelt down sobbing with tears streaming down our faces and offered a prayer asking God to protect her so that she could sleep peacefully in her silent grave. We continued to travel and arrived in the valley in the fall. We were asked by George A. Smith to settle Parowan. We left for Parowan in December. I was asked to survey the area roundabout and explore the land for locating places for settlements where grain and vegetables could be grown. Having been called back to Salt Lake for a conference, I was counseled by Brigham Young to find a wife and mother for my children. I married Belana Pulsifer. I continued exploring southern Utah and establishing other settlements. I enjoyed making friends with the Indians. I passed away while making my way back to Escalante where my son lived. 2 men found my body in August and since it was so hot they buried me in the Henry Mountains. My body may have been exhumed and buried in the Fruitland Cemetery in New Mexico. I have a marked place there. As a frontiersman, this is my sojourn in the wilderness story and the settlement of Schertz Camp that I founded.